Alright, yo, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty cool setup. I'm gonna drive to Guzman Gomez, which is a Mexican restaurant here in Australia, one of my favorite cuisines. I've been neglecting it for a bit. I want to try something, driving down and going to GYG. But I was looking at the comments and like my first video, a lot of the feedback's really nice, and I appreciate you guys. Like, it means the world. Like speaking quite freely, especially to you guys, about just like my thoughts. And I noticed I was like tangenting a lot, and I guess like the reason why I wanted to upload that was just to like get my thoughts out there and just like talk about some of my crazy thoughts that I think about and just like where I've been at. And I feel like right now it's like a good check-in. But yeah, I can't multitask, but today I want to really talk about like the sides of social media that I guess people don't see. And also like I'm on a social media detox right now. Obviously I'm uploading on YouTube, but more specifically I'm on a short form detox, which is YouTube Shorts, Instagram, TikTok, like anything that is a short attention span. I feel like I've just like been on that for such a long time. And being on YouTube is cool. Like I get people that like, I'm so used to so many comments, but on my YouTube channel, like it's nice. I can see people who give direct comments who will literally type like either on a computer or their phone, like a thought or opinion about what I'm saying. And one of the things I heard was like, if you like got better at like being coherent with your words, like this would do cool. And I was like, that's feedback, and feedback is knowledge, and knowledge is power. So I was like, how can I be better at being coherent, right? So I Googled that, and apparently there's this tactic where if you're coherent, if you want to get better at being coherent, you should get like sticky notes, right? So I have 3 sticky notes here, and I'm going to talk about 3 things that I feel like I want to talk about with social media. I'm driving right now, so excuse the lighting if it's a bit dark. I shouldn't be looking at a sticky note. But yeah, I think one of the first things that I want to write about is like, I got addicted to social media, and obviously like you use social media to watch like reels and stuff. But I feel like I got to the point on social media where I was getting addicted to being watched. So I'll say that again, like I was not addicted to watching reels anymore. Like everyone talks about like doom scrolling and talking about like the side of social media to like rewire your brain. But I've seen a lot of things about like the side of being watched. And again, like I do want to emphasize, like I have like 10,000 followers on Instagram, and I did work my ass off, and I was very consistent in that. But yeah, I was like, my friend Phoebe today was like to me, she was like, I like wrote down a couple of words, and one of the words was like reputation, intertwined with like mental health. And she was like, oh, like how do you feel when you like upload a video? And I'm like, man, I feel amazing because like people are like, it's like dopamine, right? And yeah, I think I got to the point where I was getting really addicted to being watched, which is a pretty crazy thing to me because like I kind of went on social media to create and tell a lot of my story. And like social media is like used, especially short form, it's used to keep you on the phone, right? But I think what I've been trying to realize and navigate is like, I love this feeling of being watched. And I feel like I'm still trying to navigate that. It's really interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like I started off as a videographer, and I became like an influencer in a sense, like a running influencer, if you call me. And I get a bit like weirded out when people are like, you're an influencer, right? And I'm just like, whoa, like I'm a creator, you know. There's a big difference with an influencer and a creator. Like an influencer sells products online, and a creator like creates from the heart, and they really want to be like either a storyteller, or I'm not putting them in a niche, but like a creator like really loves the form of creating instead of like putting up a story and getting like a lot of money for it just to evoke people's psychology to be like, okay, I want to buy this person's stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've done both, but it's just interesting for me to navigate between both. The second thing that I want to talk about is like there's this side of influencing, right? When you compare life to an influencer, you're literally comparing yourself to a TV ad, right? Like I remember back in school, we used to do like infomercials as like our year 8 English assignment, and like the psychology of like blasting these infomercials to you was to buy this. Like the Super Bowl, they spend so much money in advertising because like I don't know, like you'll see a Bud Light ad and you'll be like, damn, I want a beer. But if you think about it, like these are like big events, and that's kind of like mainstream media advertising. But then you have like, I don't even know what it's called, but like you have advertising that's like what influencers doing, like me. And I'm like advertising these shoes I'm using, like I get sent shoes all the time. And it's kind of like making people buy these shoes. But I'm also like everyone, a lot of people message me, they're like, hey, what do you think of like this Asics Nova Blast? And I'm like, it's a good shoe, but like, don't get me wrong, don't base it off my opinion. Everyone's foot's different, you know? And this is specifically running. But yeah, I think like watch out when you compare yourself to an influencer. And I got to a point where like I didn't want to become an influencer. Don't get me wrong, like I'm in this stage where I like grew up creating and I love that. But now when I worked marketing for 5 years, I knew how to negotiate with brands. So like since I have a videography background and I kind of have a social media presence, like it was super easy for me to pitch to these brands like, hey, like if you up my budget, like I'm not going to do a reel for $300 because like I have like a $6,000 camera. But if we kind of negotiate, go back and forth, and I'm like, hey, like my reel is like minimum reel is X amount, like $2,000. Like you'd be surprised, like they say yes. But talking about influencing and creating, like it's a big difference. And I think visiting the US, going to LA, like heaps of like these like amazing storytelling creators who just like really love that. But hey, like how do you make it full time as a creator? Brand deals, right? And what are brand deals? They're influencing you to get on their platforms or buy their product. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. But yeah, like there's a lot of good people on social media, a lot of like, there's rotten eggs everywhere. But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, like when you compare yourself to an influencer, like, okay, for me, like I was talking to Chloe and she was like, my housemate, and she was like, I had a nightmare that like, I was like running like 30 Ks, I'm pretty sure, something like that. She was just, because like her whole friend group, like me, Cal, Luke, is like all these people, like we're training for Sydney Marathon this year, which means we have to run like 90K weeks, right? Like I'll put up a Strava post on my story and be like, damn, I did a pretty hard session. And that's the only post I'll share other than my easy runs. And obviously like I'm influencing people to be like, yo, like I ran a 38-minute 10K, which is like, I've been running for 5 years. It took me like 5 years to get there. Watch out what social media looks like, you know, because there's a lot of crazy stuff on social media, especially on short form. The last thing I want to talk about is expectations. You see this? Look at the sticky notes. That's called coherence. Whoever that commented that, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about expectation. Expectation's a scary thing. I talked about that briefly in the past 2 episodes, but with expectation, I feel like my willingness to create was to keep myself free and, you know, express myself online. And I'm actually like taking this note from another YouTube video I watched, which was like talking about the paradox of like iCarly, and like iCarly is like the modern day streaming university, which is crazy to me because I feel like anyone can have their own reality TV show, and obviously like to get to that stage, like it's not an overnight success. Like in the video the guy talked about like back then when you post a video on YouTube and it gets like 1 million views, you're a banger now. Like that's a milestone. Like you probably got an email back then, but now you upload a video you upload a brain rot video and you could probably get like 10 mil views just like that. But yeah, I think like people should give. I remember one of the biggest things I was trying to navigate about expectation is like I always had to prove myself. I'm not gonna lie, but a part of that was like people like, oh, like you just do social media, it can't be that hard. I'm like, damn, like sit in my shoes, navigate brand deals, do negotiation, edit your videos, shoot your videos, ideate your scripts. Like that's why there's a whole content teams now. And it's really cool because you can be like a content creator now and have like, be on like a massive salary. It's evolving, it's really cool. But I think the expectation comes out like when you don't upload. Like I haven't uploaded on my Instagram other than brand deals. Like your followers stop engaging. Like yeah, and I think I'm very grateful for my core followers and my core OGs on YouTube and Instagram, because when I kind of went offline, a lot of people reached out to me and were like, hey, like it's okay to have a rest, you know, like it's okay to do this. But yeah, I think this is a pretty quick tangent about expectation, and also about social media. I'm gonna go get my GYG now, and I'm gonna do a second part of this when I get my GYG. Okay, give me a second. I can't not show you the spread. We got churros, queso fries. Oh, bro. Taco. I'm big back in tonight. I ran 11 Ks. And the tech is, what you get is you get nachos, you get extra coriander, extra chili. Look at this shit. Oh my God. I'm gonna smash that. Big carb load tonight. But anyway, I'm gonna kind of end up the video here because I mentioned one of my really good friends' names in the last video about me and Jay like having this side of social media that like I feel like we're a bit, like, as cliche as it sounds, do we feel a bit too real for this side of social media? I think also there's like a lot of people I can meet on social media that are like very fake. It's draining, man. It's really draining. Specifically influencers. But yeah, I think like, I guess, is there an overarching message from this? I'm trying to speak coherent. No spiraling in this one, no tangenting. I feel good. Maybe I might like go back to social media, but when I go back to short form, maybe I might like have a different perception on it, but also just create for what I really want to do and kind of set boundaries with myself. Yeah, I should do mukbangs. Honestly, this video is like a big shout out to Jay, one of my best friends that I actually met here on YouTube. We stepped away from social media at the exact same time. Very similar reasons. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit like, hit subscribe. Join my Patreon. No, I'm trolling. Opening an online community pretty soon. When I'm like kind of setting it up. But yeah, keep an eye on that. Peace.